Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics, and in this Brexit flavoured video I'll be discussing the extremely serious situation whereby it's going to be effectively illegal to trade many meat products with Northern Ireland from Britain from January the 1st, risking not only a serious economic consequence for Brexit but also severe food shortages. Of course, we are talking about food at the end of the day. That being said, according to a very recent report I was reading, maybe things are looking up because it does appear that the UK government actually seem to want to take this situation seriously and seem to be working on a genuine solution. I guess they'd better hope the Brexiteers don't find out. But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So I'll explain the issue first of all, and then how it will hopefully be that the government have shown their attitude towards Brexit is, when it comes down to it, thankfully a colossal bluff, and when it comes to the worst effects, will actually just pull back from the abyss. Or it may just be self-preservation, because if they allow this to happen, the political damage, both domestically and internationally, as well as the human cost, will be truly catastrophic. So when it comes to trade between different customs areas, meat is a particularly sensitive commodity for trading. There are EU rules on meat products that mean some things simply cannot be passed from outside of the EU, which means, from our point of view, cannot be passed from Britain to Northern Ireland. That's just within the UK from January the 1st, which is because Northern Ireland will continue to apply EU food safety standards, but the rest of the UK will not. Now, I talked about this issue a few weeks ago when it was first reported, and it would mean that chilled meat products just can't be traded with the EU. That's all there is to it. Or anywhere still in the EU's customs union, like Northern Ireland, for example. Now, this is a big problem. Quite a lot of trade between Britain and Northern Ireland depends on this. And like I said, it's not just a serious issue for businesses, although it is huge, absolutely massive. And this doesn't just affect Northern Ireland as well. This will also affect Britain and the Republic of Ireland. It's an whole trio of mess going on here. So what we're talking about, of course, is, as I say, is not just commodities. It's not just the economic impact. It's food. We're already talking about shortages is in the UK in general. In Northern Ireland, it could be much more severe. And it includes foods, things like sausages, mince, chicken, etc. And it would also include foods made from these products as well. Oven-ready meals and the like. Seems that Brexit can't handle oven-ready meals any better than it can handle oven-ready deals. And in order to be exported to Northern Ireland, so the products would need to be frozen first of all, except chicken, where even freezing doesn't cut it. The rules are much stricter on poultry, so it seems, as far as I can tell, that's forget it. But not only is this a change in terms of freezing, it's like, okay, well, can you just freeze these things and then transport it over, and then we can do something here. I mean, that doesn't solve the whole problem, because it still needs certificates, and it's still going to come with high costs, which I talked about some time ago as well, but I'm just trying to focus on this separate issue at the moment. The thing is, I mean, first of all, that's a hell of a change for businesses to make in very short time. This is not something, for example, that's been worked on for a long time. I reported on this a few weeks ago. That's when this issue first emerged. But we simply do not have the freezer capacity in the country to manage it. This has been an issue that the industry has talked about, cold storage industry has talked about for some time. We do not have the capacity in this country to deal with any extra freezing. So that will not be the solution. So another solution is needed. Now, the other thing is that the UK has said it will reciprocate the EU's arrangements, basically copying completely the EU rules, which is an interesting take. It's perfectly reasonable, but it's an interesting take because it's like, do the Brexiteers know about this, Boris? But what it means is that the opposite will also apply. So trade in both directions will basically be illegal. And because the issue, as I understand it, the issue is that, so health certificates have to be issued on meat products. they have to be issued in the same country where the animal was slaughtered. And the capacity to issue these certificates on chilled meats doesn't exist. Now, this is speculation on my part. I've not got this from a report, but I would be thinking this is probably because, so if the EU or any EU nation or any one within the EU's customs area were to export meat products further afield, it would be frozen, of course. So, you know, you could argue that just chilled meat has only been traded within the EU single market, so there hasn't really been a need for those certificates before. Now, if you leave that unresolved, that's a really serious situation, because there's a huge export market in the affected meat products between Britain and both parts of Ireland. Like I say, it covers all three. And additionally, in coming up with solutions, we'd also have to consider, because the solution you'd think has to come, you know, some form of, so we need to create the capacity to develop these certificates. Whether that can be done in time, I really have no idea. But it's going to include the use of a vet. What's our veterinary capacity? Can't just pull extra vets out of our arse to carry out these ideas, you know, to certification. And that being said, as far as I can tell from reports, the UK government, so serious situation there, but the UK government does genuinely seem interested in finding a solution. Now, I always have to be a little bit hesitant here. I mean, one thing that gives you a bit of confidence is if there were a genuine solution to this that could be applied in the time left. The fact that Ireland is sort of outside of the normal Brexiteers' radar, DUP aside, means that it is possible to apply genuine solutions, you know, away from that media spotlight in the largely Tory areas of England and Wales. Take, for example, PMQs this week, Prime Minister's questions. There was the opening question, before Keir Starmer got his go, was a useless question from a Tory backbencher, asking the Prime Minister to confirm that we would be regaining full sovereignty at the end of this year. Boris Johnson gleefully promised that we would. A pointless question and an equally pointless response, because we've already agreed to a load of Japanese rules as part of our trade agreement with Japan. In addition, the UK government has also said, like I said, we're going to copy entirely, just entirely, the EU's rules on food safety and animal health, even after the transition period ends. Now, you won't expect this to last forever, of course, otherwise what would the agriculture bill be for? But initially that is what's going to happen. But the thing is, I haven't noticed those swivel-eyed loons like Nigel Farage or Steve Baker or any of the other Brexiteers in England complaining about what they would certainly characterise as a surrender of sovereignty. Mostly because either they don't know or they don't care. It's not been made a public issue in England, and it doesn't affect their sources of wealth, so they don't, because it's not a public issue where the Brexit support base is, they don't have to have an opinion on it, and because it doesn't affect their personal wealth, they don't care. The UK government's proposal at the moment, according to a report in RT, Irish media, is to suggest that Northern Irish supermarkets already have impressive internal stock monitoring systems. So that would allow the, you know, if there were any suspect products, you've got the systems in place to be able to trace it right back. So that, should the need arise, you can trace everything. They also alluded to a World Trade Organization mechanism that could be used here. Now, ordinarily, I would go, oh, that's good. I'd like to believe that there is a mechanism and that it would provide a solution. Unfortunately, and it may be true, and it may be a goer, unfortunately, the last time Conservative MPs, Brexiteer MPs, tried to talk about World Trade Organization mechanisms, it was the wholly false claim that GATT24, which still does the rounds, allows us to freely trade with the EU without a deal. No. So unless I get an independent expert commentary that this is a genuine proposal, which I have not seen, then I'm going to have to remain a little bit sceptical. My main source of hope, like I said, is this isn't Tory MPs talking about it, and also anything to do with Ireland, they're not that bothered as long as it doesn't affect them. And I'd also suggest that any system that can cover this massive problem is also probably contingent on a deal. Now, given that at present, unless something happens between me recording this and you seeing it, but there's not a great deal of time between that. I mean, there's still no news on the prospect of a deal. So I simply do not know what the consequences would be of a no deal announcement on this issue. Though on the issue of a deal, although I remain sceptical, I've said so, and I will remain sceptical until we get an announcement that there is going to be a deal, I would caution against people paying too much attention at this point to the rhetoric from both the UK and the EU, because if you listen to it, it all sounds very negative. However, that is quite normal in the very final stages of negotiations on any agreement between any two parties. It's all political posturing on both sides to make sure they don't give away more than they need at the last minute. With every agreement for a trade agreement, just before it, it always sounds very dour, very, oh, we might not actually get this over the line. There it is. But those are my thoughts anyway. It is an extremely serious situation. There are 5 weeks left to solve it. There hasn't been a definite solution agreed between the EU and the UK so far. But at the same time, hopefully the fact that it is away from the main Brexiteer area of interest, and also because it would help reduce friction. The only thing Brexiteers care about with Ireland is the level of friction between Britain and Northern Ireland. An agreement between the UK and the EU on this would help reduce that friction. So it's also in the Brexiteers' interests as well. That's what gives me a bit of hope. But again, it's a bit like a deal. Until something is announced as, yes, we've got a solution, both sides agree, and this is going to work, you have to be worried. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, don't forget to click the like button. And if you'd like to support the channel further, please also click the Patreon link for details. And until next time, I'll see you later.